Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Carissa, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my most disappointing reads of 2018. Let's get started. So, the first one, I have a pile right here of the books and I'm just gonna grab them. The first one, Anne Rice, The Witching Hour. First of all, this book is huge. It's like 1,000 pages or something, and I'll tell you right now, I had to DNF this book. So, basically this book is described as a horror. Wow, I don't even know what to say about this book. It was just so boring. Like, the writing style was just not my thing. I really couldn't stand this writing style, and there's like no chapter breaks in this book, so it's literally just like it keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Oh, actually, maybe there is chapter breaks. I thought there wasn't. I guess the chapters are just really long and the font is super tiny in this. Whoops. But yeah, it was just so boring. The premise of it sounded really interesting to me. It's like about this family that's been haunted for many, many years, and it's basically just telling the story of all the family members, you know, going through their experiences of being haunted, and I just couldn't with this book. I couldn't. It has pretty good reviews. I guess this book is just for some people that enjoy this kind of writing style, but it was just so boring. Like, I was just waiting for the horror to start happening, and I don't know, I just couldn't get into the writing style either. It's just like, so many things were just like a run-on sentence. I couldn't keep up with all the characters. I did not like this book. I DNF'd it at like 150 pages. I'm sorry if you like this book, but I couldn't do it. I had to DNF it. Okay, next one, Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I know, so many people like this book, so many people were raving about this book in 2018. I'm not going to say this was a bad book, because I don't think it was necessarily bad, but it was disappointing just because it was so hyped up, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so scary, it's going to be so suspenseful, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. Like, that's what people were saying about this book. And I will admit that it did give me anxiety reading some parts of this book. Like, there's two specific scenes in this book that I remember like giving me a lot of anxiety, and I just didn't know what the hell was going to happen. But other than that, I really didn't think it was scary. Yeah, it was kind of underwhelming to me. And another thing that I didn't really like about this book was how the main lady called her children boy and girl. For some reason that just irritated me. Like, I understand that she didn't want to build like a strong relationship with them because she didn't know what was going to happen or how many days she was going to be living. If you don't know what this book is about, which I'm sure most people do, but basically it's about this woman and her two kids, and you are not able to look outside. You have to be blindfolded, otherwise whatever is outside is going to come. It's going to make you crazy, and you're going to end up eventually killing yourself or somebody else, which sounds like a good premise. It sounds very interesting, it sounds intriguing, it sounds different, which it is different, that's for sure. But I don't know, I was just so underwhelmed with this. I didn't think it was that scary. I found myself like wanting, you know, it to be over, and that's just no fun. So I would say that was disappointing in this one. Yeah, I won't be reading this again. I'm probably going to give it away. I did enjoy the movie though, so that's something. Okay, the next one is Revival by Stephen King. Now this one is probably my most disappointing book of this whole pile. This book was just so boring. It was so boring. Like, this whole story was just going on and on and on, and nothing was happening. Like, nothing. It's got a religion, electricity. There's a huge part of electricity, like the talk of electricity, how it works, things like that in this book. It was supposed to be like scary. I don't know, I saw someone say this was the scariest Stephen King book they ever read, and I was like, oh my god, yes, like I need some scary shit in my life. As I was reading this, I'm just like, turning the pages, when is something scary going to happen? It's basically about this man that's like a drug addict, and he's got this relationship with this pastor, I believe he is, a pastor, and this pastor is like obsessed with electricity. Like he makes weird things, you know, revolving around electricity. And it says, a fresh adrenaline rush of terror. This is Vintage King. There was nothing terrifying about this. It was just the life story of this guy, and nothing interesting happened. There's probably one creepy scene in this book that I can think of, but it was only like not even a page long, and after that, like, nothing happened. The ending was boring. This whole book was boring. I could not handle this. This is definitely getting donated. All of these are getting donated. Yeah, I couldn't do it. This is probably the worst Stephen King I've ever read, and I read Mr. Mercedes, and that one was just okay. I'm really underwhelmed with Stephen King at this point. I do plan on reading The Shining this month, so I really hope that is better than this, which I'm sure it will be. Next one is I Am Watching You by Teresa Driscoll, I don't know how to say her name. But this one kept getting recommended to me on my Amazon account, and I kept seeing it, and I was like, huh, that sounds interesting, but I don't know. So I finally ended up picking it up, and I won't say that this book was bad, but it's just not as thrilling as people make it out to be. It's supposed to be like the super good thriller of the year. Everybody was talking about it. Everyone was raving about it on Goodreads and Amazon reviews and stuff, and I don't know, it just wasn't that good to me. It wasn't really anything special. It's not something that stuck out of my mind. It's pretty much about this woman that is living with the guilt of hearing these two girls talk to some strange men on a train. She's on the train, I think she's like on her way to work or something, and she hears these two men talking to these underage girls saying like, you know, we should hang out and things like that. And then those two girls end up going missing, or they end up dead or something. I can't remember. I can't remember. That's how underwhelmed I was with this book. And it's basically just her living through the guilt, and then somebody starts sending her creepy messages saying like, making her feel guilty for her not reporting these men to the police. She kind of just sat back and watched the whole thing. I mean, it sounds good from the way I'm describing it, and I'm sure some people will like this book, but it was just, I was getting a little bit confused. There's different perspectives in this book, like the two girls that went missing, those two girls' perspectives are in this book. The woman that witnessed it, I think there's a private investigator perspective, and then the person that actually committed the crime. And it was just a lot to keep up with. It was getting confusing, it was getting jumbled up. I just couldn't get into this. So yeah, this was definitely disappointing. I had high expectations for this, and it didn't live up to it. Alright, this next one, Penpal by Dathan Auerbach. I probably butchered that, I'm sorry. This one was a really big disappointment too. So this one is basically about this man and his creepy childhood. It's supposedly like a compilation of creepypasta articles like put into this book. If you don't know what creepypasta is, I think it's like a forum where people write about their weird experiences. I really hope I'm correct on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's something like that. But yeah, this book was so underwhelming too. This was supposed to be scary, supposed to be creepy, and this book I almost DNF'd. It was really hard for me to push myself to get through this because nothing was happening. I mean, there was a few creepy parts, but not enough to make me like scared, or, you know, it was just boring. It was so boring to me. I know a lot of people like this book, but I just couldn't. I don't know. I didn't like it either. It was kind of creepy, but at the same time, I just felt like it was really drawn out, and just things like it would lead up to something that you thought was going to happen, and then nothing would happen. It's like, oh my god, when is something going to happen in this book? Yeah, I didn't like this. I'm going to be donating this too. Alright, the next one is The Merciless 2 by Danielle Vega. Now, I will say I really did like the first one in this book. It's this pink one right here. You guys may have seen it around. That one was really good. That one was actually kind of terrifying. That one freaked me out. I had to put it down a couple of times because it was really freaking me out. So basically, the first one is about these teenage girls, and they kind of, you know, put their friend through an exorcism. They're kind of like it. There's a quote from somebody saying that it's like Mean Girls plus exorcism or something like that, and that's kind of a good way to describe. Yeah, Mean Girls meets The Exorcist. That's what the first one was kind of about, and now the second one is basically about one of the girls from the first book going through, she's getting sent off to this very religious school, and basically it's just telling the story of how it went for her there, and creepy weird stuff starts happening. But this one wasn't as creepy as the first one, and it was kind of boring, and there was kind of some religion talk in this one too, which, I don't know, it just turned me off. When religion starts happening in a book, I'm kind of just like, ugh, I don't know, I just get over it. So yeah, this one wasn't too much of a fan. I was going to plan on reading the whole series because I think there's a couple more after this, but I don't know. I might not continue, but I do like how this book looks, and I like how the pink one looks too. Just like that weird, I don't know, what is that, satanic symbol or something? I like how they look, so I might keep this because it's cute, but I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series. So yeah, that one was disappointing. I had high hopes for that one too. Okay, the next one is Our Kind of Cruelty by Araminta Hall. I don't know if I'm saying her first name right. This one was okay. I did have a lot higher expectations for this, but okay, let me just read you the blurb on the back. This is by Gillian Flynn. It says, "This is simply one of the nastiest and most disturbing thrillers I've read in years. In short, I loved it right down to the utterly chilling final line." I don't see how it was the nastiest and most disturbing thriller. It really wasn't that disturbing. I've read way more disturbing than this, especially coming from Gillian Flynn. I feel like she's written a lot more disturbing than this. But this one's basically about this couple, and they like to play this game called The Crave, and it's basically where the woman goes out and seeks other men, and then, you know, her boyfriend gets turned on from that, and they just take it too far, and then one day she says, you know, I'm breaking up with you, and he doesn't believe her, and he thinks that it's just part of the game, that she's still in love with him, but she ends up getting married to this other guy, and basically he's stalking her throughout the whole book. And it was just, you know, just him stalking her, and it was just repetitive. It was just the same stuff over and over again. He would stalk her, she would say, no, I'm really not in love with you anymore, leave me alone, blah blah blah. It just, these are my kind of books, like stalker, weird books like this, but this one was just repetitive and boring. Nothing really happened in this one either. There's like a court case at the end with the stalker, and yeah, that court case like really dragged on. I mean, it's a decent amount of pages long with that court case, and them just going back and forth deciding what the ruling is going to be for him. I don't know, this one, it was just meh. Wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, there's a lot more, way better thrillers out there. Especially if you like thrillers, read Gillian Flynn or somebody else, because that one, it was just meh. Alright, next one is The Dead House by Dawn Kurtagich. So, this one, I can appreciate this book because it is different. This is like a YA horror / thriller, I guess. But this one's basically about this girl, and she is suffering with a mental illness in this book, and they kind of go over that with her therapist. There was this big school fire, and her twin sister ended up dying in that fire, but throughout the book you don't know if her twin sister really died or if it's just all this girl. Like, it's just this girl, and she thinks she had a twin sister. She's got like 2 personalities. I still don't really know if she had a sister or not, because the ending is kind of weird. Hopefully that's not a spoiler. Maybe I'll put something that's saying like possible spoiler alert, because I don't want to spoil anything if you want to read this book. Or if you are reading it. But yeah, spoiler. I still don't know if it was her sister that was like causing so much trouble and being psycho, or if she just had a mental illness, because like she would be one person during the day, and then this other girl would come out at night, and supposedly it was her twin sister, and then, you know, it's going through the thing like, does she really have a twin sister, or is she going crazy? Now, one thing that was kind of cool about this book is it does have pictures. I'll try to find some. Like, It's got documents, pictures, but this might just be like, I don't know, it might just be me, but like the pictures are just kind of lame. Like it's just some, it's not really realistic pictures. It's just like some printed off random hands. Like the girl, when they show like the girls in this picture, in this book, the main girls, and it's just literally like a face, like, yeah, like this. It's just like a face blurred out, and I just feel like that's so boring. Like in this whole book, you can't see who they're talking about. It's just some random girl like with her face blurred out, which I get it. I mean, you know, it's cool. Like it's different. It's got all these pictures and documents and stuff, but like when they show pictures of the girl, it's just like some random girl with her face blurred out, and I feel like it would have been so much cooler if they would have included like a realistic looking girl, that like one that pertained to the story, one that matched the description of the girl in the book. I can't find the other pictures of her in here. But yeah, it's just like some random girl. You can barely even see her face. They have it like blocked out. Like, I don't know. It just, here's one. It just made it a lot less realistic to me. But yeah, this one was underwhelming. It was supposed to be really scary, really creepy, and it just wasn't to me. Maybe if you are into, like, you're just starting out in horror or thrillers and you like YA, you might like this. I don't think it was a bad book. It was just not my cup of tea. It wasn't enough for me. So yeah, that one was a disappointment. And I have one more that I'll just put a picture up on the screen. I can't find this book. I don't know, I might have donated it already, but it's called Dangerous Girls, and I believe it's by Abigail something. I'll put a picture up, but that one was, oh my god, this one was boring too. It was so hard for me to get through this book. This one was a thriller. I think it's YA, and it was definitely, I don't know, it was just a little too simplistic. The writing was a little too simplistic for me. Again, if you're just starting out into thrillers and you're, you know, kind of a little bit nervous, you think you might be scared, or you get anxiety easily and you don't want to read something too scary, maybe that's a good one to start out with, but it just wasn't enough for me. It was so underwhelming too. That's like the word of this video, underwhelming. But yeah, that one's basically about this, you know, there's a group of friends that go on vacation and one of the friends ends up missing, and it's pretty much that whole book trying to figure out what happened to this girl, where did she go, you know, and there's different suspects that they are thinking about may have taken her. Excuse me, that one was just really boring. I tried so hard to finish it. I don't like DNFing books, but sometimes you just got to move on to the next. So yeah, that was really just not good. But yeah, I would say the most disappointing one of all is Revival. Like, this one was just awful. I couldn't handle this book. It was so bad. I almost DNF'd this one too. But yeah, those are my most disappointing reads of 2018. Let me know if you thought any of these books were disappointing as well, or let me know if you really love these books. I'd love to know different opinions on them. So yeah, hopefully this year, I mean, I really didn't have that many disappointing reads. I'd say this is not too bad. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate it so much, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!